What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another Commander Deck Tech video. This time we're doing yet another competitive EDH deck tech. And I have to remind you, like every single one of these I'm doing now, I'm going to be looking at someone else's deck just because I'm so exhausted making all of these competitive decks. They share a lot of the same cards. And I think it would be so much better to do more of a community thing where I go over other people's decks, maybe give their accounts a little bit of attention. And I also get more out of it too, because I get to learn about interaction, I get to see something different I didn't know about before. So the link to this deck list by Heliobito, I guess that's how we say it, will be in the description below. And also my link to my account, my profile up here, that will be in the description as well. Almost forgot to like the deck, but let's go over this. So Chatterfang Squirrel General, this is going to be more of a competitive deck, so if the budget is above $2,000, fair warning. Chatterfang is pretty cool, and I think it does make a competitive EDH commander because you have an ability where you can sacrifice X squirrels, target creature gets plus X minus X until end of turn. That's good removal. That's going to be part of what we do here to win, and although this specific deck here does not come with a primer, it's pretty straightforward. It's easy to understand how you win here. The real ability, though, that makes the combo possible for this deck is the trigger where if one or more tokens would be created under your control, those tokens plus that many 1/1 green squirrel creature tokens are created instead. And we're going to see the combo pieces, but this is going to make it easier to win with something like a Zulaport Cutthroat. It's going to make it easier to win with something like Disciple of the Vault, and we're going to see that here. Creatures, we have Allosaurus Shepherd. First indication that this is going to be a pretty competitive deck. You have a $75 1-mana creature here that makes your other green spells uncounterable. We have our mana dorks like Arbor Elf and Birds of Paradise just to get our good turn 1 plays going. We have Blood Pet, which is great for any kind of black CEDH. It sacrifices itself for 1 black mana. And then you have Cabal Therapist. This is actually something I had to learn about, but because we're going to be playing a Protean Hulk strategy, we do have cards that make it easy for us to discard from our own hand. It doesn't have to be just to hurt our opponents. So if we are stuck early game with Protean Hulk in our hand, we can easily dump it to the graveyard and then bring it back, reanimate it with some other cards in here. Dark Confidant is a CEDH staple because we play a pretty low CMC. Makes it easier to get through our deck. We have Deathrite Shaman, can be a mana dork, but all around just a great utility card. We have Disciple of the Vault, so whenever an artifact is put into a graveyard from play, we can have target opponent lose a life. So we have Pitiless Plunderer here, I'm going to talk about that in a second, but we have 4 more mana dorks here, Elves of Deep Shadow, Elvish Mystic, Finhorn Elves, and Llanowar Elves. We have Mindblade Render. Whenever your opponents are dealt combat damage, if any of that damage was dealt by a warrior, you draw a card and you lose a life. So it's not as good as Dark Confidant, but in a similar way, it can get you card draw for a loss of a life. We have Opposition Agent. Steal a search from them. Whenever they want to play a Demonic Tutor, you search for something instead, you get to play it. And then Pitiless Plunderer. Now, since this deck does not come with a primer explaining all of the different ways you can combo, I had to do my best here to figure it out. It really just comes down to you getting Chatterfang out there so that you can then sacrifice a squirrel, because each time you get a treasure token off of Pitiless Plunderer, you get another squirrel token. A squirrel token you can then sacrifice the treasure in order to sacrifice the squirrel token for, and then you get another treasure token off of Pitiless Plunderer because you sacked a squirrel, and then you get another squirrel token off of your Chatterfang, so that just kind of goes back and forth, and infinitely you will be able to trigger something like Disciple of the Vault, or down here we have Zulaport Cutthroat. Very easy to get Pitiless Plunderer because you're playing a Protean Hulk combo, so if you're able to get Protean Hulk back from the graveyard, that's usually the best way of cheating it into play. You could easily just have it die, and then you search up something like Pitiless Plunderer, Zulaport, or Pitiless Plunderer, Disciple of the Vault, or some other creature that you need to get your combo going. We have other cards in here, which this deck isn't perfect. I have to point that out. There's always someone in the comment section who's like, this isn't the most optimized deck, and I get it. You're going to see some cards in here that might not be the best card to play, but that doesn't mean it's bad. We have Ravenous Squirrel, so whenever you sacrifice an artifact or creature, it gets a +1/+1 counter, and you can pay 3 mana to sack an artifact or creature to gain a life and draw a card. Hardly a bad card, but maybe not the most competitive. We have Rex Sage to destroy an artifact or an enchantment. Honestly, I think at this point, maybe you could play something cheaper in an instant. We have Priest of Titania here, another mana dork. I think that's great for competitive play. Squirrel Sovereign, on the other hand, another card, yeah, I can agree. Making this a little bit more like Squirrel Tribal takes away some of the competitive edge, because we're not going to focus on combat, so giving all of our other squirrels +1/+1 is a little bit pointless. We do have Toski, Bearer of Secrets, which I think is great because it's indestructible, can't be countered, and it's pretty easy to just keep attacking with this. We have Witherbloom Apprentice. This one I think is even better because you're going to be casting a lot of instants and sorceries in competitive play. Each opponent loses a life off of that and you gain a life. And then our sorceries in a similar way, just easy to get rid of our Protean Hulk. Put it in the graveyard or sacrifice it. Bone Charge is a great way of doing that because we get to destroy a target creature or planeswalker for 1 mana. Cabal Therapy, another way to ditch our Protean Hulk. Chain of Smog, the same thing, but we can also copy it and then have it happen to one of our opponents. And then we have Chatterstorm, so if you're casting a lot of spells, it is possible to just do this over and over again. That way you get a ton of squirrels out there. Probably part of some bigger combo, but again, this deck list didn't come with the primer, so I have to kind of guess here. Culling Ritual, great card, great removal. Also gives you a ton of black and green mana. We have Demonic Tutor and Diabolic Intent because they should be in here totally. We have Eldritch Evolution, another way that we could try to get up to our Protean Hulk, or another way that we can just sacrifice the Protean Hulk. But a great card regardless. It can also help us get to our Pitiless Plunderer. And then we have Finale of Devastation, another way that we can tutor up Protean Hulk, or really any creature that we need. We have Green Sun Zenith, same idea here. We have Peer into the Abyss, get half our deck to our hand. Never really hurts in competitive play. We have Persist, a newer card. Return target non-legendary creature card from our graveyard to the battlefield with a -1/-1 counter on it. A way that we can get back Protean Hulk. We have Praetor's Grasp, tutor our opponent's libraries for a card that we want. Reanimate, bring back Protean Hulk. Scheming Symmetry, great tutor. We have Toxic Deluge, awesome removal. We have Unmarked Grave, a way that we can easily put our Protean Hulk into our graveyard and then bring it back with some of those other spells. And then we have Yawgmoth's Will to pretty much play whatever we want from our graveyard. And then our instants, we have 14 of them. Abrupt Decay for removal, Ad Nauseam to try to win the game. Assassin's Trophy, so that we have even more removal, black and green. Autumn's Veil, making it difficult for our opponents to counter our spells. And then we have Culling the Weak, we sacrifice a creature for 4 black mana. Dark Ritual, 1 mana for 3 black mana. Entomb to get our Protean Hulk into our graveyard. And Nature's Claim to destroy an artifact or an enchantment. Kind of a reason why I think we shouldn't even be playing Rex Sage in here. I think for 3 mana it's a little bit too much. And you get better removal here in instants anyway. We have Slaughter Pact for 0 mana, destroy target non-black creature. We have Tainted Pact, always a great card to get through our deck. Ulcerate, creature gets -3/-3, we lose 3 life. It could be something else, could be something different. It could be Deadly Rollick, to be honest. I think Slaughter Pact could be Deadly Rollick as well. We have Vampiric Tutor for more search. We have Veil of Summer. Another great way to keep our spells from getting countered. We have Worldly Tutor to search up a creature. And then for artifacts, we have Chrome Mox, Jeweled Lotus, Lotus Petal, Mana Crypt, Mana Vault, Mox Amber, Soul Ring, and Wishclaw Talisman if you like searching even more so. Jeweled Lotus is great because our commander is 3 mana in green, so we don't really need any other colors, and we get a turn 1 Chatterfang. And our enchantments, even more ways of getting back our Protean Hulk from the graveyard. We have Animate Dead, we have Carpet of Flowers for more mana. If our opponents are playing a lot of islands, that's always nice. We have Necromancy, another way of getting back our Protean Hulk. And we have Necropotence, so another way that we can, similarly to Ad Nauseam, just get through our deck for a lot of life. And then we have Sylvan Library for even more card draw. We have Utopia Sprawl. And then we have Wild Growth for mana production. And then the lands look to be pretty much like your typical mana fixing with some utility mixed in for competitive play. Ancient Tomb, Bayou, Bloodstained Mire, Blooming Marsh, City of Brass, Command Beacon. This one's nice because you pretty much are allowed to get around the commander tax at least once. Command Tower, Darkboar Pathway, Emergent Zone, just a way to flash into play spells. We have Exotic Orchard, Forest, Llanowar Wastes, Mana Confluence, Marsh Flats, Misty Rainforest, Nurturing Peatland, we can sack it to draw a card, Overgrown Tomb, Polluted Delta, Prismatic Vista, Snow-Covered Forest, Snow-Covered Swamp, Regular Swamp, Swarm Yard. We get to regenerate target insect, rat, spider, or squirrel. Twilight Mire, Undergrowth Stadium, Verdant Catacombs, Windswept Heath, Wooded Foothills, and Yavimaya, Cradle of Growth. And this is why I love Moxfield, because you just get certain details that you don't really see on other websites. So it says the average mana value of your main board is 1.25 with lands and 1.77 without lands. This deck's total mana value is 124, which that doesn't really matter. You're using Ad Nauseam. The average mana value without Ad Nauseam is 1.21. So that kind of gives you an idea of your mana curve, so that if you are playing something like Ad Nauseam, you're not going to be losing a ton of life. But anyway, let me know what you think about this commander deck with Chatterfang Squirrel General. Really cool idea here. This is again a deck by Heliobito. This is not mine. Death by 1,000 Acorns. And I like just going over brand new decks that are just published. I think it's a cool thing just to find something brand new that someone else has built and go over it. So let me know what you think about this person's deck here. Again, go check it out. It'll be in the description below, the link to it. As always, if you like the videos, subscribe, like, comment, share, hit that notification bell so you don't miss any future episodes. Void here signing off. See you all next time.